This is the City of Lagos TV show, and you're welcome to From the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show, where we'll bring you latest developments from the office of Mr. Governor. And so first, it was indeed a promise made and promise kept to take the urban mass transportation system, especially the rail transport option, when the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on the 4th of September 2003, flagged off the Blue Rail Line inaugural ride from Marina in Lagos. Mr. Governor expressed his excitement at the passenger turnout of over 500 passengers who were part of the inaugural ride.
I'm sure you're all excited. It was a smooth ride. I conducted everybody well on the train as the head station controller on this inaugural ride. And we advise people, not to forget their personal belongings on on the train when they are disembarking at their various train stations, and also to ensure that when they are disembarking, that they watch the gap, right? And they also ensure that they tap out at their various train stations. So I think it's been a wonderful experience for me personally this morning, and I'm sure almost all the 500 or 800 passengers that are on this ride, this morning. And I think it's a great experience, right? And it's now work for everyone, that is in Lagos. And I can see that the whole place is well secured. There are men of Nigerian police there. There are neighborhood watch, and they also have their own private security operatives that are on there. And it's clean, the stations are clean, and we're good to go.
The governor also spoke on the potentials of the Cowrie card, which happens to be a seamless guarantee for multi-transport rides in Lagos.
I think we all have the wonderful experience this morning, and I feel we'll see how we did for everything that happens for ensuring that we do the right thing and we can get it to work. And so I'm extremely excited to work that Amanda and all of our stakeholders are doing to ensure that we can keep with the date, keep our commitment to start the operation on the 4th of September 2023.
And still from the governor's office, as a responsible government under the able leadership of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Lagos State government officially flagged off the Lagos State Food Bank program to ameliorate the effect of the fuel subsidy removal policy, especially on the vulnerable in the society. The governor, during the flag-off, enumerated the various strategic palliative measures being taken by the government to support citizens of the state.
I stand here today deeply aware of the challenges that Lagosians have been facing with regards to the sharp increases in both public transportation and the prices of essential food items across the state, which is at the direct effect of a policy on the removal of the subsidy by the federal government. And so as a responsible government, we announced a number of measures which was aimed at ameliorating the effect of the policy on our people, most especially the vulnerable in our society. And so these palliative measures, which are already being implemented, include a 50% reduction in public transportation costs in all government-owned buses and some private-owned buses that are working with us. And we've done almost 30 days now in the 50% bus. Similarly, we have also introduced a free health service, especially for all pregnant women in all government hospitals, both the general and the tertiary hospitals. And that also has started. This is direct intervention to the citizens. It has nothing to do with public service or if you are in arm of government or not. No, these are interventions to the entire citizens of Lagos State. And so one of the measures which we announced and being formally flagged off today is the distribution of food items for vulnerable households through the Lagos Food Bank program. The strategic goal of this program is to reach about 500,000 vulnerable households in the state with stable food items, which include two categories: bulk food items, which will be given some bulk distribution of 50 kg rice, 50 kg gari, and 100 kg beans for groups. They will also have, in smaller groups, 10 kg rice, 5 kg gari, 5 kg beans for individual vulnerable household. The distribution of these food items to vulnerable households will be done in groups. We'll do it through different groups, through different institutions, different non-governmental organizations. We'll use your CDCs and CDA. We'll use the people living with disability and people that are under our social protection list, which is like our vulnerable register under the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, which we call the Social Register of Vulnerable. We'll also use other various implementing agencies like the religious organization, the Christian organization, the Muslim organization, and all other bodies like that.
And still coming from the office of Mr. Governor of Lagos State, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, received in audience on a courtesy call the Lagos Controller of the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, Controller B.A. Dangama, and key officials of the paramilitary organization in Lagos. The Lagos Controller of the NIS, who represented the Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, will read out a couple of requests to the governor, assure the governor of the NIS resolute to ensure border crime control in Lagos.
Your Excellency, the Acting CGI also asked me to assure you, Your Excellency, that NIS has redoubled its effort in ensuring that Lagos State and indeed Nigeria is safe from cross-border crime through an improved migration management strategy, ensuring improvement in service delivery to Nigerians across all service windows, and maintaining zero tolerance for corruption and corrupt practices. I wish to start my address by acknowledging the immense logistic support the command has received from your administration. Avail me this opportunity to express my profound gratitude for the generosity of your administration in the areas of donating operational vehicles to the NIS and indeed all security agencies in the state. The command within the life cycle of this administration has received donation of 3 operational vehicles through the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, LSSTF, which has greatly enhanced the command operational capacity and put the command in a better position to execute our mandate of migration management. We are equally grateful to Your Excellency for approving our request to furnish the Lagos State Command newly constructed command complex situated at Alagbon Close. We are indeed grateful, sir. Your Excellency, sir, I crave your indulgence to allow me to present one critical request, which is the inclusion of the NIS in the Security Council, given the unique position of the command, NIS in the Security Council, given the unique position of the Lagos as the commercial nerve center of the nation and the state, accommodating the highest number of residents and transiting migrant population in Nigeria. Your Excellency, Lagos, unlike any other state in the country, is the only state with international land, air, and maritime gateway into the country, which also immensely contributed to the high volume of migration-related activities in the state. It is noteworthy that to intimate Your Excellency that Lagos is the only state in the Federation that I am aware of that does not have the NIS, which is the only agency solely saddled with the overseeing the activities of migrants in the Security Council. Even landlocked states without international borders and very limited migration activities have NIS included in their respective state security councils. It is to this end that I humbly request that Your Excellency give due consideration to this pending appeal, which I believe will address the lacuna in the council as presently constituted. Your Excellency, I equally wish to entreat your support for your approval that relevant section of the Immigration Acts of 2015 and Regulation of 2017 which highlight the responsibilities and liabilities of properties owners and hoteliers, be adopted into the state tenancy and tourism laws. The adoption of these proposed tenancy tourism laws, the adoption of this proposed relevant section will strengthen and synchronizes the state tenancy laws with NIS laws on the rules of engagement of property owners with regard to the steps they must take before they accommodate foreign nationals in their property, even uncompleted buildings. The liability and responsibility of real estate owners are clearly captured in Section 28 of the Immigration Regulation 2017, which makes it imperative for real estate owners to ensure that all migrant tenants and squatters residing in their properties possess valid immigration documents before they are allowed in their properties. Enforcement of these laws will help greatly reduce the presence of irregular migrants, especially those of West African descent, who constitute a large percentage of irregular migrants in the state.
In his response, Mr. Governor consented to the request of the NIS to be part of the State Council meeting to contribute strategically to security issues in the state. He equally assured his government's determination to cooperate with the NIS to achieve its set objectives.
I think if I remember the very first one, it's around advising me that NIS also needs to be on the State Council. I think it's been discussed before, and I just told the Chief of Staff now that I think I would agree or accept, to that, and I'm sure maybe from the next Security Council meeting we'll try and invite you. And I think if indeed there's a value an agency of government is bringing, it's important for us to ensure that they have their full representation there. So that is well taken, and we'll make those amends. I mean, looking at it, indeed, if an agency is in charge of border movement, migrant movement, citizens movement, it's important for us to hear from you firsthand on a regular basis what you're doing, what are the strategies you're using to keep the place safe, and what is the migration movement, what are you seeing, and so I believe it's important and it's strategic enough. Regarding the IT software that you talked about, my IT people are not here, and that's why I said I wanted to read your speech again. It would be nice when you get the contact with the Chief of Staff. So let us see what the application is, what it will achieve, and how do we implement it, and what are the benefits, what are the hiccups, if any, and how do we ensure that it meets the intentions and is able to communicate effectively and efficiently. So through the Chief of Staff office, we can get a further breakdown on it, and see how we integrate and see what additional input, if any, that we can bring into it. I think the other issue is to commend and to thank your men. I mean, your Deputy Controller, and I'm sure Madam and all of them, we owe it a responsibility, without fear or favor, is to commend your men, and just, through you to your men, and of course to the Acting Controller General, that we want to commend our efforts and all of the interventions in that space. Yes. Well, of course, being a member of the council, there will be other things that you would see, all the support that we can also give, Nigerian Immigration Service, and how we can collaborate. The other thing, which I told you yesterday when I met with your minister, was to advise him, 2 days ago, and part of the reforms that we think are low-hanging, that you also can bring on board, so that the citizens who you are serving also can feel the benefit and feel the improvement, in your current service. We read it in the newspaper. He had said the passport issuers and the rest of it is going to be quicker, faster, and I think it's something that I don't know how many number of Nigerians have passports right now, but if Nigerians are desirous of having it, I think it's their right, and it's proper that we we give it to them. Unfortunately, we don't have a full national ID yet. Yes, NIN, I know, but I mean, the passport in itself is a form of identity, and it just probably gives people another sense of security and safety. So what the least we can do is to make sure that it's available.
And finally, from the governor's office on the City of Lagos TV show, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, also received the ambassador of the Republic of Ireland in his office recently, who paid him a courtesy call. In the course of presenting the purpose of his visit, he identified business, health, education as key strategic areas the island government intends to continually partner and collaborate with Nigeria, considering the great economic potentials of Lagos.
In education and business and in the health sector, we're really seeing Nigerians come to the fore. And I think it's something that we recognise our journey as a people also. So our population is just less than 8 million people on the island of Ireland. We've got 70 million people spread across the world. Like our honorary consul, they're great champions for the places where they're based, and they're often really well placed to make those connections, whether it's for business, culture, education, health, people-to-people connections. And we see so much potential really to grow those connections with Nigeria. That's why I came here. That's why I was so honoured to have the privilege to come here. And what I really want to do is to offer to you today what I know something Connie has been doing and my predecessors have been doing, is to say that Ireland is ready to partner with you, to collaborate with you. We have, as you know, we have the second highest GDP per capita in the OECD, in all of the OECD. Ireland is now the second highest of all. We have done some things right. I'm sure we've done lots of things wrong as well, but we approach it always with a view, like you have, inspired to make life better for the citizens of our country. That's our inspiration. We always look to learn and see what we can learn from partners around the world. And we would love to see an enhancement of our partnership with Nigeria and the Nigerian people, and particularly with this megacity of Lagos.
We, as a government, continue to ensure that, businesses thrive. People can come here, knowing fully well that it's safe, it's a secure environment, and they can truly, really just fly and get to whatever heights they want to get to. The city, is at a point where we need to do a major leapfrog. We are at the stage where we need to be able to bring all of the opportunity that are bound. We need to be able to seize it and do a major leapfrog. You mentioned, for example, now that your per capita, it's the second. If Lagos too were a city, were a country, it would probably be the fifth or the sixth largest GDP in Africa, right? But we're subnational, right? And so we're constricted with the per capita of Nigeria, also, and so that's some of the burden. But we have been intentional to try and build this city quicker, faster, and smarter. So over the next couple of years, there's going to be massive infrastructure, development, renewals, in public transportation, in rails, bridges, and rest of it, and also, of course, in social infrastructure, more schools, more hospitals, making the city a lot more resilient, a lot more improving the livability standards of it, and a lot more competitive, as a global city, with this kind of huge population. So these are some of the economic, agenda that we have. We're doing it knowing fully well that, our youth must be central to it. We've got a very strong, huge, large youth population where technology can be available, accessible to them, make sure that we can provide internet connectivity almost in every part of the city at a rate that it's affordable, making sure that gender equality, women, girl child, boy child, are given opportunity in all spheres of life. and very intentional in our own economic drivers, in the city, ensuring that we equally give, the female gender space, in everything we do, and ensure that there is equality, around those places, so that indeed the full potential of the state can be, can be brought to bear, and we can make this place a lot more better than we've met it. Lagos being a very, very dynamic city, we need to be able to trap, all of those diversity into an environment where they all can flourish, and do well.
And that's the picture from the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show. Do you care to join us once again for another interesting package on the City of Lagos TV show? Thanks for watching.